I live on a corner lot. The neighbor beside behind me is in some way associated with owning the HOA. I've had a few issues. I had a feeling I might have issues when I went to the gate a couple days after I bought the house to get a transmitter for the gate leading into our community. She told me she was just about to send a notice out to the owners to take care of the lawn at my property, and she didn't know it had been sold. It wasn't bad, but I told her I was moving in and would take care of it. They tried to give me grief about the edging around my trees in the front and side yard, telling me it needed to be mulched. Those trees cover a significant part of those areas, and enough mulch to cover it would be expensive. I could understand it if the rest of the houses in the area actually did this, but they don't. Shortly after that I installed a swing for my son in a tree in my front yard. While I was doing it, the neighbor across the street stopped by and said that that was a great idea, and he was sure my son would love it. I told him that we will see. Told him I figured it was only a matter of time before I got a complaint. It took 2 days to get an email from the HOA telling me I needed to take it down because swings aren't allowed in trees in the front yard. They can only be in the backyard. The next time I got a complaint about the mulching, I drove around the neighborhood and took pictures of all the other yards that looked exactly like mine with no mulching. Guess what else I took pictures of? At least 5 other houses with swings and trees of front yards. I printed out the photos and took them up to the girl at the HOA and asked why I was getting harassed about this stuff when they obviously weren't enforcing it on anybody else. She claimed she was sending out notices to a huge list of people, but that was the last I heard from them. For a while. Most recently I had a tree almost come down on my house in my backyard, and had to call a tree service out to cut it down. I had them cut down a few other dead trees and trim back a lot of branches while they were at it. Instead of paying them to haul it off, I told them to just leave it in the yard, and we have been using it as firewood in our fire pit. Apparently the neighbor behind us didn't like the pile of wood in our backyard and called the HOA to report us having a fire hazard.
I get a call from the HOA telling me that I need to dispose of my fire hazard. I asked them what they are talking about. They explained my pile of wood needed to be removed from my backyard because a neighbor had complained about it. I have a 6-foot privacy fence surrounding my backyard that is bordered by 2 neighbors. Nothing in my yard can be seen from the street. The neighbors to one side of me are friends, and our kids play together. I've already told you who the other neighbor is. I know exactly who made the complaint. I asked the guy on the phone how they could even see the pile of wood in my backyard. I explained to him that I have a privacy fence and the only way they could see it is if they are looking over the fence into my backyard. I also explained to him that if they are doing that, then they are invading my privacy, and I wanted to file a formal complaint with the HOA for that invasion of privacy, and make sure he calls them to let them know of my complaint. My brother decided to cut the wood into smaller pieces and stack it near the fire pit over the course of a week or so. So my fire hazard moved locations. I haven't heard anything from them since. I get the feeling my house gets notified a little more often because of who lives next to me, but unless they try enforcing the crap they complain to me about on everybody else, they are going to have a hard time getting anywhere with it. It is annoying as hell though. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. It makes my crit so hard.